What's good, everybody? Sean Sholove Rosenberg in the building. Back at you with another video. Now, today we have fantastic hip hop on how Drake just got even more petty. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. If you want to check out more of Fantastic Hip Hop's channel, the link will be in the description down below. So let's get into it.
Now, after being the laughing stock of the rap world, and things only getting worse and worse with each waning moment that the world has processed everything that went down in his beef with Kendrick Lamar, Drake has finally done something to stand in the face of Kendrick and his crew and stop their unprecedented victory lap. But when we really look at what Drake just did, despite him finally pulling something off to clap back at his opponents that actually kind of worked, the measures he had to go to finally hand Team Kendrick and L is honestly pathetic, and if anybody else did this, they would be getting a ton of backlash. And what I am of course talking about is how Kendrick's former TDE label mate and longtime friend Schoolboy Q is currently on his Blue Lips Weekends tour, and as he was supposed to perform his show right within Drake's home city of Toronto, it got cancelled by the Canadian police, and having to tell people that his sold out show was not going to happen, Q tweeted, "They just canceled my show in Toronto. Canadian police don't want nobody from TDE performing." And then he also went on to follow this up saying, "Op was just with Wayne and Baby, SMH. Party Next Door had a show at the Palladium. If we wanted to get y'all, we would have just did. Now when somebody get hurt, don't cry." And now with these tweets.
Hold on, let me go back. Yeah, Drake, come on, bro. Drake, if you had something to do with this behind the scenes, then that right there, that's not a good look for you. You can't, like Drake, you cannot block. You can't basically block somebody and uphold somebody's money just because, you know, for Schoolboy Q, you can't just tell Schoolboy Q or had a role on having Schoolboy Q's show canceled. You can't have a role of doing that, because right now what you're doing is you're blocking that man and you're costing that man his money over because of the beef between you and Kendrick. You can't do that. Drake, you got to play by the rules. You have to play by the rules. If you're gonna be like Schoolboy just said, if you're gonna allow your artist to come to the West Coast and do his show, you gotta let Schoolboy Q come to Toronto and do his show. You gotta play by the rules. You can't just just perform at anybody's state that you have issues with, or you have your artist go anywhere and to perform anywhere here in America whenever they want. But when it comes to certain artists that are siding with Kendrick Lamar or has ties with Kendrick Lamar, you can't do that. You can't just block them and have their shows that they have scheduled in Canada to be canceled for that. Like, Drake, that is definitely a cowardly move. You can't do that. You have to play by the rules. This is hip hop. This is not, this is hip hop. You don't have the right to have people in Canada, or if this is just, we don't know. If this is just you that was behind the scenes that told promoters or told the people in Toronto not to let Schoolboy Q come, or I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be like a promoter, or like Schoolboy said, the Canadian police made it told him not to come, or maybe just just Canada just trying to be like, because of what's been transpiring between Kendrick and Drake, maybe they're just trying to protect certain people. Maybe they're just trying to protect certain artists because they don't want any artist to get hurt. But in my heart, I feel like this beef should not like affect anybody from coming to Canada just to perform and have their career. Just because right now Schoolboy Q's currently on tour for his album. Yeah, Drake. If you have something to do with this is not a good look, and this is right here not. This is a bad thing because right now, Drake, you got to understand this is hip hop. You got to keep it hip hop. Don't like I said, Drake, you got to stop acting like this tough guy role because it's really going to get you into big trouble. That's all I got to say about it. Let's continue.
Just did. Now when somebody get hurt, don't cry. And now with these tweets, Schoolboy Q is telling us not just about what went down as his own tour performances had to get cancelled, but he's also just reiterating the fact that if him and Top Dog Entertainment had any real issues with OVO and Drake affiliates beyond the microphone, it would have been settled already as the president of the label was just with Lil Wayne, and if they wanted to be petty and shut down one of Drake's OVO signees in Party Next Door from playing in their own city of LA, they could have done the same thing. And now that this has went down, Q seems to be declaring that this feud and these tensions are far from over, and I mean when we look at this move, with TDE no longer being able to do shows in Canada, this is something we can almost confirm that Drake had his hand in, because in the past, he had the pull to do such things as get Lil Wayne back into Toronto in 2022 after being banned all the way back in 2011, and seeing how big of a star Drake is and just how much of an ambassador he is for Canada between the festivals he throws and his involvement with the Toronto Raptors. It really should not be shocking that probably the biggest star the country has ever produced has so much pull over things if he wants. And if this wasn't enough for you, Drake posting later on his IG story in a Tony Yayo shirt after Yayo recently said that any critics of Drake would no longer be welcomed in the Six, it pretty much confirms what the evidence and School's words already told us. But just because Drake is the face of Canada does not mean it's alright to do this, because out of everything Drake could have done to level the score, from releasing new music to trying other angles to diss Kendrick, TDE, and the West Coast through, this is not just one of the pettiest, but it's actually pathetic that
That's what I'm saying, like, Drake, keep this inside of hip. It's just like I said, keep it inside, keep it hip hop. Don't try to take this into a more personal and street level, because this is where you're gonna get in trouble. Drake, you cannot block people from coming to Canada. That's not how it works. You can't do that. Because if you're gonna be doing that, then eventually people are gonna probably stop Party Next Door or any other artist, especially including you, for coming here in America. It's not just the West Coast, it could be the whole country. People may stop you from coming to New York. People may stop you from coming to California. People may stop you from coming to Houston. People may stop you for coming to Atlanta. Or anywhere in America. Because if you're going to be doing all that, you possibly going to turn this into America versus Canada, and we do not want that. You got to play fair, Drake. You got to play fair. If you're doing all of that, you're going to lose a lot more. You're going to lose a lot more supporters, and you're going to lose a lot more people that was actually siding with you, that was the ones that are on your side. They could possibly turn on you. Yeah, because Drake, you're making this more difficult than ever. I get it that you're upset that this battle did not go the way how you wanted, and you cannot accept the fact that Kendrick beat you at your own game. That he flipped the narrative on you. But being petty and being sensitive and holding a grudge against other artists that like I said, that either has ties with Kendrick or that sided with Kendrick. You can't just stop them from getting their bag. They're here to make money. They're not here to escalate. It makes it seem like you're. It makes it seem like Schoolboy Q is gonna come and try to Schoolboy Q was in the music video, but Schoolboy Q, he just want to be there to perform. If there's gonna be fans in Canada, that's probably gonna chant some of the lyrics from Kendrick's diss tracks. You there's nothing Schoolboy Q can do. Like, he can't control fans and tell them, no, don't do that. You can't do that. Drake, you're really taking more L's than ever. Like, bro, I get it, but Drake, what you really need to do is stay off social media, take some time out, like step away from the music industry for a minute, take some time out, reflect on what's going on with you right now, reflect on your whole music career, and then when the time is right, try to make a comeback. Because like I said, you guys, listen, I'm a fan of Drake. Like I told y'all in my previous videos, I am a huge fan of Drake. I've been a day one Drake fan. I said this before. Can Drake make a comeback? He can. Even if it's not on the hip hop route, can he make a comeback in musically? He can. But Drake is taking things the wrong way. He needs to like stop being sensitive. If you want portion of the industry and portion of people to come support you again, be positive. Look what you did with the Pusha T thing. Yeah, Pusha T beat you. Yes, Pusha T destroyed Drake on the Story of 89. And Drake was supposed to have a skeeting red button response diss track ready, but he held that back. And you know what he did? And it's just like you said with the interview you did with LeBron James back in 2018. All that anger and that frustration that you was about to do when you instead of releasing that skating diss track, when you was working on your album Scorpion, this prompted you to work to make more music for Scorpion and just to get everything off your chest. Like, Drake, please stay off social media. Take the time to reflect on your career. Really just step away from music, and when the time is right, put all, like you said, you said it the best. You put all that energy into you. When you was battling Pusha T, you told LeBron, listen, instead of taking all my frustrations on you, I put that into working on new music. If that's the case, and if you feel like you don't want to battle Kendrick no more, take all that frustration and that anger that you had into going back at Kendrick, do it like you did. And it's like this. Drake, if you're possibility working on a new album right now and you have plans on releasing it maybe sometime next year, I would say take your time. Don't rush it. Take your time. And then when the time is right, I would say give it about next year. And if you're ready to drop an album, I would say, I know you're going to have those hits, but also but make an album that's reflecting on your career and reflecting on everything you have gone through. That's what I would say. And if somehow, if there's like somebody from Drake's team or somebody, a fan of Drake, would see this, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they, you know, chop up a clip of my YouTube video and send this to Drake. I wouldn't be surprised. But Drake, just reflect, I don't know. It's just very hard to say. It is very hard. Let's just continue.
These are the measures you have to go to counteract the impact your opponents are making, and when it comes to what this choice means. On top of how forcing a show to get canceled right before it's about to happen makes everybody from the artists to the hardworking crews on the tour lose money, Drake is also literally robbing his own city and country from getting one of the best music performances that was on their calendar this year, because as Schoolboy Q has shown in 2024. Aside from his affiliation with Kendrick Lamar and his appearances at the Pop Out concert and in the Not Like Us video, he has been one of the best rappers this entire year period, as his album Blue Lips was genuinely amazing, and with Q's breathtaking performances that push the boundaries of how you can infuse passionate lyricism, emotional pain, and unpredictable production, all with one factor that few rappers, including Drake, can never showcase, which is maturity. This project is a surefire Album of the Year candidate and will go down as one of the best bodies of work from this year, and unfortunately, Canada will never be able to see Schoolboy Q remind the world of why he is one of the best rappers of the 2010s and why he's only growing more now, and with the rest of TDE and their affiliates. From Absol, J-Rock, if they are really serious about this, then SZA, and of course Kendrick Lamar. All of these names and more are banned from ever playing in Drake's home city, which is just a pathetic move, and at the end of the day, it's only going to hurt the city in the long run, as their hip-hop ecosystem will begin to get closed off from the larger hip-hop world, because with all of the other rappers who have problems with Drake, who knows how far he will end up going with this. I think what will really be telling about this is when Future and Metro Boomin go to Toronto on August 11th during their We Trust You tour. Because considering that these two were the guys who started this whole nightmare for Drake, and that they have been some of the most calculated...
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Metro Boomin and Future's concert gets canceled next. I wouldn't be surprised. If that happens, then yeah, Drake, you basically started a war within Canada and between Canada and America. Not only and that's another good point. I didn't look at it. Not only Schoolboy Q, but you could potentially ban TDE from coming to Canada. I wouldn't be surprised if, let's just say, if A$AP Rocky decided to do if he had, it is rumored that A$AP Rocky is working on his new album, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on tour next year and he gets banned in Canada. I wouldn't be surprised because there are rumors that Rihanna's working on her new album too. Her long-awaited, anticipated, I think, 8th studio album. There are rumors that she's working on the album right now, which I highly doubt. I highly doubt Rihanna's going to get banned from Canada too, because Rihanna is a huge big star. But it would be messed up if Rihanna dropped her new album and then she decided to go on tour for the new album. She can only come to Canada, but A$AP Rocky can. If that happens, and if Drake had a role behind the scenes doing that, then Drake definitely started a war. And here's the thing, and I'm just saying, like, any artist, like, wouldn't be surprised. Who else? I think I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, I'm just putting that out there. I wouldn't be surprised if Drake do that. And most of the part, I wouldn't be surprised if Drake cancels Future and Metro Boomin's tour. But I mean, yeah, it's very hard to see how things did not turn out because because I think if you guys remember on Family Matters, Drake didn't really go at Future. He was just mainly hurt that him and Future had a falling out, and you know, and we can't. I'm not personally going to put mostly the blame on Future and Metro Boomin because and I'm not going to put the blame on 21 Savage either because that wouldn't be fair to 3 Atlanta natives. But I'm not going to put half the blame on Drake either. I'm just saying this should have never. I mean, I can understand why Future and Metro Boomin are upset with Drake because, like I said, because we were supposed to get a second collab project with Future and Metro, Future and Drake, but of course Drake, I don't know, but what happened behind the scenes? I think Drake said no, like we already have one. I'm gonna go ahead and work with 21 Savage. I don't know the whole backstory. Like I don't know if Drake. I mean, not Drake. I don't know if Future or 21 Savage, they have anything going on. I don't know the whole backstory. If they do, I don't know. But if they don't, then there's clearly something else. But apparently, I think the Future and Drake beef kind of got, because the reason why, and this is according to rumors, a lot of people were speculating the reason why Drake and Future had a falling out is because the typical is over a female, which I don't know, but it's just very hard, y'all. I don't know how to point all of this out, but let's just get back to the video.
And firm when it comes to standing on their anti-Drake stance. It very well seems like they could run into a similar problem and find out that they can't play the shows that they are supposed to, and from doing all this, I think the question we really have to look at is, what is Drake actually achieving by doing this? I mean, this is the equivalent of somebody taking their ball home because they don't want to play with everybody else anymore. And if Drake starts blocking off artists who are affiliated with Kendrick Lamar and people who just don't like him from coming into his city, aside from Drake's own petty interests, which will keep his rivals away from his own turf and hurt their own pockets by having one less place to go, I guess, this will also hurt the businesses and venues that rely on some of these tours. Take, for example, the venue that was hosting Q's show, History. This was a sold-out concert with a venue capacity of 2,500 people lined up to go, and now, all the people going are not just going to get inconvenienced, but the businesses in your own city will lose money for having a show that is one of the biggest tours going on right now not coming through your city, and this is the problem. Now, despite the fact that this venue is partially owned by Drake, there are other stakeholders and people with jobs who are just being massively inconvenienced by this all, and what this really is showing is the fundamental difference between how Drake and a lot of the other artists in TDE just handle being big-time rappers. As Drake is being petty at the literal expense of everybody else, and when you can no longer compete with Kendrick or any of TDE lyrically or on any sort of chessboard musically, with this being the route Drake is going on, it's really just showing how desperate he is to try to get back at Kendrick and TDE for doing what seems like irreversible damage to his career, and now as this show has been cancelled and now with Schoolboy Q, after his initial social media rant and confirmation that if this is the way Team Drake wants to play, TDE won't be the aggressors, but they will take note. Q also made sure to make it clear that him and his crew would never take this beyond music, because at the end of the day, it does not matter to them. Now, whether this was when Kendrick was talking about raising his son and that his whole life is not about rap, on a track like Euphoria, or Q making the point over and over again as social media was blowing up over this that he is a soccer dad. While these guys do put their heart into their art and release great songs and albums when they come out, at the end of the day, rap is a job to them, and especially now as guys like Kendrick and crew have families.
Exactly. That's what Exactly. That's a great point. And this is another thing too. Any person that has a talent or a success of a profession they have, it's not only just their dream, they're living out their dream, they're working. Like you see all these like you see these artists. It's not just something they do. It's their job. They listen, that's their that's their passion and their profession. They got to make money to feed their families. And it's just like I said, this is a thing that Drake should not be playing. Like Drake, like it's like I said, Drake, you need to play by the rules. I know, guys. I know I'm repeating this so many times, but I'm trying to find different words and different angles, the way how to get my point of view off. You cannot like Drake, you're making this more harder than ever. You are literally making this a lot more difficult for people to support you, and this is not a way to try to get one over Kendrick. Like Drake, if you're gonna keep doing this, this is not only you're trying to hurt them, but this is gonna hurt you a lot more, because you got people in your own country who pay their hard-earned good money to come see these artists. And if you're doing that, and I wouldn't be surprised if those same people that supported you in Canada, that's going to start turning on you. People in Canada, they might turn on you and say, hey, wait a minute. I get it. Yeah, you put our country on the map, but you're going to start blocking other artists that has nothing to do with this beef, or like that. If you're going to start blocking artists that has nothing to do with this beef, or you're going to block artists that decide to side with Kendrick, then that's a cowardly move. Drake, your own country could potentially turn on you if you're going to be pulling slick stunts like this and pulling moves behind the scenes like this. They're gonna slowly turn on you. Like I said, Drake, just play by the rules. Keep this hip hop. Play by the rules. Let these guys come to Canada and perform. If you're gonna allow your artists to go to the West Coast and do concerts there, then you should allow Schoolboy Q and all these other artists to come to Canada and do their shows. You gotta play by the rules.
They keep the rap game at arm's length from them so they can be the men and fathers that they want to be. So ridiculous antics that are under them don't follow them around everywhere they go, and at the end of the day, that is the difference with this whole situation. Drake is so petty and caught up on this feud that he is banning his competition from coming to his city regardless of who else it affects. Meanwhile, with TDE, now that for all intents and purposes the main part of the battle is over, they want to go about their careers and continue their lives, and in all honesty, I think Drake needs to listen to an album like Hugh's Blue Lips instead of just posting up in a picture of blue slides to troll him, which, if you didn't know, is the third song on the Blue Lips album and serves as the thematic centerpiece of the entire project. He probably should have tried to get a ticket to his show instead of canceling it, because he wouldn't just see what it's like to make a good album at this point in your career that manages to be extremely well written.
Right. That's another thing too. Like Drake, the battle is over. It's about to be like Kendrick Lamar just released a music video. I think last week. Wait, was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So that was the last thing. And after that, Kendrick hasn't said anything else. All right. Kendrick put the final nail in the coffin with the music video. So let's just go ahead. We already had the battle. I mean, it's about to be 3 months since the battle took place. In a few weeks, because on July 30th, it will be 3 months since the battle, since he dropped Euphoria. So Drake, you had the battle. You said you was over it. You said you was done with it. You was not going to entertain it anymore. You said you was going to move on. Drake, let these artists come to Canada and let them perform. We had a great moment in hip hop. Don't try to ruin that by turning this into something more deeper. It's just like everybody keeps saying, let's keep this hip hop. Let's keep it in the booth. Don't take it out into a street level, and don't take it out by doing petty things like blocking certain artists and blocking their money. Like, Drake, come on, bro. Have a heart. Let's get back to the video.
And produced. But maybe then Drake would understand that he might need to start growing up a little and begin to really step up into being the man that he has been called out for not being. But as it stands, Drake is just going further into his own world of delusion, and beyond just his own thoughts, he is now making his city follow in his footsteps, whether you agree with him or not. So with all of that said, let me know. How do you feel about this situation and what Drake did? And if you want to leave a comment about Schoolboy Q's Blue Lips, please do that as well, because I would love to hear what your favorite tracks and parts of that record are, because it is genuinely amazing. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you want to see why Drake said he was giving up on rap right before this happened, check out the suggested video.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if Drake's gonna ever, like, try to get over this, but as we all see, Drake is right now not in a good space. So if Drake's gonna be pulling petty moves like this, then he's gonna lose a lot of respect, not just only in America, but from his own country too. But let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Do you think Drake should just swallow his pride and not let his ego get the best of him and actually let his artists perform? I don't know. Or is Drake going to continue being petty to try to get one over Kendrick? But like, subscribe, hit the comments down below, and remember, follow me on all my social medias. And I will also, if you like to join the Discord community on the Hip Hop Community Talk of the Culture with Mikhail and friends, the description will be down below. Sean Shalub Rosenberg hereby saying, what a great video. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. And just y'all know the drill. Just keep me. I will definitely let y'all know on the next upload. I'll see y'all on the next upload. Deuces.